What if I told you you could make 150,000 flux in under 4 seconds, and all you have to do is go to the Geode caves?
No, it's not true. That's impossible.
Turns out it's not impossible at all. So there it is, 150k flux in a tier 4 plant cave in 4 seconds. Now this is a bit misleading because it actually took me 10 minutes to get to that cave, so the total amount of flux made in those 10 minutes was 270k. Now it's a bit more complicated than just go into the caves and expect a rainstorm of flux. So let me explain it in a bit more detail. Preferably you should have these modules maxed out, so I would prioritize all 5 of these. If you don't have enough gas, you might not even make it to tier 4 and 5. End charge is equally important, otherwise you're going to be incredibly slow because your rocket boots require end charge. And if your rocket boots aren't maxed out, then it barely even matters if your end charged is maxed, because the half end charge cost to rocket boots is massive. And even still, if you don't have a high level vaca-matic, then you won't even be able to pick up plants with it. Probably the least important of all these modules is Pathfinder. You can get away without using it, but you're just going to be a lot slower. People underestimate how important the jump boost can be when you run into those tricky sections. Up next, we need to talk about the best in slot companion, which is the abhorrent heckbug. Unfortunately, this companion is no longer available. The devs in their infinite wisdom decided to time gate a best in slot item, so if you don't have it, you gotta wait till next February. Let's compare it to the best non-time gated companion. Yikes, this guy isn't even close to being as good. First of all, we don't even use barrier nor omni tool for plant farming. The 300 gas and rocket boost cancel out, so the heckbug is better than the cube by 500 max gas, along with a vaca-matic cost reduction and cooldown reduction. This may not seem like that much, but 500 gas is huge. It allows you to stay in the tier 5 caves for so much longer than you normally would. So if you have your hands on one of those, I'm jealous. Okay, so how do geode caves work? First, enter one of the portals in the Geode hub, pick any direction, and you will end up finding 2 paths. One that is a dead end with either an ore, crystal, or plant room at the end of it, and one path that lets you go deeper into the caves. Go deep enough and you will see a pathway with blinking lights, which leads you to the next tier. As a general rule of thumb, you probably shouldn't waste too much time in tiers 1 and 2. It's simply not worth it. Just run past these tiers and get to tier 3. This is where you're gonna find those juicier plant rooms. In the spirit of science and observation, let's compare all 3 tiers and see which one is the most profitable. In tier 3, as you can see, I found 55k flux worth of plants. In tier 4, with the same cave generation, I found 76,000 flux worth of items. And in tier 5, again, with the same cave generation, to keep it all consistent, I was able to find 86,000 flux worth of stuff. So the higher the tier, generally, the more profit. Although a couple things to keep in mind, plant prices fluctuate very wildly. I've seen cave birds, for example, go down to 700 flux each, and I've also seen them go all the way up to 1,500 flux each. It all depends on, what's going on, how high the demand in the market is. Additionally, you might actually just get unlucky and not find any plant caves at all. But wait, hold on. There's more flux to be made other than just the plants. The cute little critters you find starving and freezing to death everywhere are actually gold mines. Yes, that's right, you can profit from their suffering. So go craft these items at the Crystology bench and get yourself some lesser crystal caches. Let's go! From these, you can get crystal pinatas as a rare drop, and boy oh boy do they sell. Lazy players who hate Geode and refuse to farm crystals on Mondays will buy these up like crazy. And the best part is, they sell from anywhere from 70,000 flux to 120,000 flux. That's right, I've been able to sell these recently for 120k on the market. It doesn't really stop there. You can further your profits if you use that noggin of yours along with the craftable items at the Crystology bench. Hint hint. But anyways, why don't more people utilize this flux farming method? good. It's clearly one of the best ways to make Flux as a solo player. The problem is, who the f wants to play a Trove minigame all day?